You can start whenever.
Oh, we're rolling. Hi there. My name's Freddie T, and this is the inaugural version of my Spirit Review. If you like what you see here, make sure you drop a like on the channel. Feel free to comment. Let us know what you think about the whiskeys you've had. I just want to tell you a little bit about myself before we get started. You know, I've had lots of drinks in my life. I've spent some time as a bartender years ago. You know, I'm a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, ham and egger type of guy nowadays. So I wanted to bring a review for you on this Pappy Van Winkle 15 that I was able to acquire. Now, I didn't pay the street price for this. A friend of mine hooked me up. It's probably the first and last time I'm going to be able to have the Pappy. Now, I've been drinking bourbon for roughly a year now. I've been trying different kinds, different prices, different levels, different ways. I find I like mine with a little water in it, on ice, watered down just a little bit. That's just my preference. My favorite bourbon is probably Blanton's, which, you know, luckily I found a place that I can't share with you where I get it from, but I've stocked up on it, so I got a pretty good supply. But either way, we have this Pappy Van Winkle here, the 15-year reserve. You know, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna unbox this and we're gonna try it a couple different ways and share with you what we think of it and, you know, what an everyday person thinks, you know, not a professional bourbon drinker. Let me go ahead and pour a little bit. It's a little more than a little bit, a little more than I wanted to do on this tasting. Now, mind you, we're going to do a tasting. We're going to try it a couple different ways, but this isn't a sifting. It's I'm sorry, this isn't a sipping. It's a tasting. So I'm going to go ahead, swirl it around, and give a little smell. You know, I don't really smell the alcohol, which is surprising. A lot of times I do, but you know, I got it that time, the alcohol. But you know, this is really amazing. I don't smell the woodiness, but I smell like an apricot taste and almost a cherry and possibly apple in there. You know, but it's got a very sweet smell, even a little bit of honey in there, which, you know, at a higher proof, I think this is 56 proof. I'm surprised that it smells that sweet. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a sip here. Wow. So I put it around my tongue a little bit. You know, there's a little burn, a little sting, a little bite to the alcohol, but there's a sweetness there, like a candy, almost like a toffee, I think, or a caramelly taste to it. I didn't take a lot, so there's not a lot of burn in the back of my throat. For this second time, I'm actually going to take a little more and see what the after effects. I can still taste it on my tongue, and it's almost dancing in there. But it's very sweet. It's got like a candied fruit kind of essence to it. Now, I got a good swallow on that. I know there's no such thing as smooth bourbon, but the finish was pretty good. And going down my throat, it went down nice. And I'm getting, again, that dancing of the flavors on my tongue. And it's a little bit different. I'm still getting the caramel in there. Not so much of the fruitiness, but there's definitely a sugary goodness to that. So, you know, it's sweet. You know, some people will taste the spices and stuff. There may be a hint of cinnamon taste to it. I'm not sure. I'm not getting a lot of spice. I'm getting a lot of sweet and a little bit of the burn from the alcohol. So far, I like it. So we're gonna add a little bit of distilled water to it. They say that if you use your own tap water, I mean, look, use whatever you got. You know, I'm using a champagne flute here, but you know, I personally like all my whiskeys opened up. Well, I like them on the rocks, opened up with melted ice water. But you know, to get a true taste here, I want to open this whiskey up just a little bit. You know, I don't even want to open up that much of it, so I'm going to go ahead and put it in a shot glass here with just a bit of water, just a little bit, and it literally opens it up. Right, you're kind of distributing the molecules a little bit. You know, so I'm going to try it this way and let you guys know what I think. You know, the smell now, even with the water in it, is a little different, almost like a pear smell. getting the same flavors, a little thinner, a little more wide open, but you know, it's cliche, but water does open up your whiskey. On that one, I got a little bit of honey, and I did taste a little bit of the wheat in there too. I know a lot of times when I drink bourbon, I taste the corn a lot. I haven't gotten any corn taste out of this whatsoever. And you know what, just now with the finish, I got a little bit of oakiness out of it. So, you know, I gotta say, so far, it's a pretty good bourbon. Now I'm gonna do it my favorite way. Now, they say you're supposed to drink out of this Glencairn glass. Again, we'll use the rocks glass. We only got one Glencairn here. So we already added a little water to it, so I'm gonna get some cubes here. I'm gonna add this. I'm gonna add the rest that's here. Now mind you, I prefer my bourbon really watered down. Like I like to let it sit and let the ice really melt into it. So I'm just gonna give it a second here, you know. And while we do that, you know, I also want to take note of the brown color here. We do have a dark color, it seems, compared to other bourbons. You know, here's a Blanton's side by side. You can see that the Pappy is clearly, you know, darker. Mind you, this is the first time, I don't know if I mentioned this is the first time I've ever had Pappy Van Winkle. I think I did say that. All right, well, let's give it a try the way I like it. Yeah. So now that the heat's out of it, you're not getting that alcohol burn with it. You're still getting quite a bit of sweetness. I have to say, it's quite sweet. You know, I like sweet bourbon, so we'll give it another shot here. That was almost like a brown sugar taste. A little bit of almost a molasses taste with that one. I'm gonna give it one more shot here and see if we get anything else. So I dropped that off the back of my tongue. And along with the molasses, there was a little bit of a hint, very hint of vanilla in there. So I have to say, there's a multitude of flavors coming through here. I don't know if I'm processing them all or even able to conceive them all, but you know, I gotta say, it's pretty good. Now, those of you that are collectors or know the whiskey world know that Pappy's very hard to find. It can be very expensive. I gotta think about this a little more. Like I said, I've been perusing lesser expensive bottles, and you know, I have to think long and hard if I like it better than the Blanton's. You know, the Blanton's I'm able to get for $55 a bottle plus tax up in the Northeast. So, you know, compared to, I actually got this shipped to my house for $300. So that's considered a bargain. We'll have to think a little while if it's a $300 worth $300, you know, for the bottle. I want to share with some of my friends. I had a lot of friends that actually say, hey man, you know, if you don't mind, can I get just a little taste? I'd like to be able to say I had some Pappy. So I think this is going to conclude our video today. Like I said, if you like my video, please drop a like. Feel free to comment. You know, let's keep it light and happy. And we'll see you soon. We can edit this out. Don't